Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome William H. Wright II.
Good afternoon, everyone. Excuse me. We are proud that the MAS Summit incorporates art, performance, and expression into its agenda each year. And tonight we are thrilled to present an excerpt from a theatrical piece that is right up our alley. Justin Rivers' forthcoming two-man play tells the story of an unlikely friendship. It all starts with a conversation between a construction worker brought on to help demolish Old Penn Station and a teacher who, like thousands of New Yorkers, looked on in horror as the city dismantled one of its greatest public works piece by piece. Titled The Eternal Space, the play will premiere off-Broadway at the Lion Theater on November 13th. But you will have seen it here first, at the MAS Summit. Please welcome Justin Rivers to present his new work of art. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm honored to partner with the MAS in presenting to you a brief reading from the first scene of my play, The Eternal Space. Set against the backdrop of Penn's demolition, The Eternal Space is about an unlikely friendship forged in the rubble of one of our city's greatest civic monuments. The show will use state-of-the-art projection technology and over 2,000 never-before-seen photographs from 5 celebrated photographers to recreate the magnificence of the former Penn Station on stage. Our 4-week off-Broadway premiere will begin in November, and I heartily invite you all to come and see it. But first, let's watch as Joseph Lanza, a high school teacher fighting to keep the station standing, meets for the first time Paul Abbott, a photographer and construction worker, physically taking the station down while he's photo documenting the process. The date, October 28th, 1963, the first day of Penn's historic destruction. Joseph, being read by Clyde Baldo, is trying to convince Paul, being read by Matt Polisi, that there is still beauty to be found in the soot-covered halls of Penn. Our narrator is Daniel Stern, and our production manager up in the booth today is Rome Brown. Please visit theeternalspace.com for more information, and I thank you very much.
The Eternal Space, October 1963. The bottom of the grand staircase in the main waiting room of Pennsylvania Station. A light comes up on Paul Abbott, a construction worker dressed in work clothes with a green camera bag slung around his shoulder. He has his hard hat under his arm and a lunch pail in his hand. He places his hard hat, lunch pail, and camera bag on the floor and starts sifting through the bag. He stops and notices a poster that clearly reads, "Don't demolish it, polish it." He stops what he's doing and goes to take down the poster. He rips it in half and disposes of it. A light comes up on Joseph Lanza, an English teacher dressed in a blue suit and tie, toting a briefcase and a number of signs. He has thick black glasses. He stops to take note of the time and notices Paul taking down the sign. He doesn't say anything. Paul then takes out his camera. Paul notices Joseph and pays no attention. He keeps working. Joseph takes another sign that reads, "Shame," and hangs it up. Paul looks over at him while he is working on his camera. Paul walks over and takes down the poster. Roughly 10 minutes into the scene.
Have you ever seen the opera Tannhauser by Richard Wagner?
I've never seen an opera.
Heard?
Pieces of something. I think it was Italian.
No, this is a German work, robust and strong.
Never heard of it.
Really is quite amazing.
I'm sure. Well, I'm gonna start taking some photos.
Would you look at this waiting room?
What about it?
That ceiling.
Yeah?
There's 147 feet between the ceiling and the solid ground.
Okay.
For mortals like us, that's almost an eternity.
Weren't you talking about opera?
I was talking about the ceiling. Can you find words to describe this room? This station as a whole?
Large.
No, do better than that. Stretch that sterling vocabulary you've demonstrated thus far.
Who the hell are you?
Words, sir! Are there any other words you can use?
Very large.
Grandiose?
Sure.
Majestic?
Why not?
If I were from another country and I didn't speak your language...
You don't.
Humor. Fine, I don't understand you, you don't understand me. But how best would you express this room to me?
By showing you a picture of it.
Yeah, that's cheating.
No, that's what I do.
Now you're substituting images for words.
Why use words when you can see the actual room?
Well, what if you don't have the picture with you?
I wouldn't have this conversation with you.
Again, you're cheating.
All right, then I would tell the person to go and see it for themselves.
Well, what if your child comes up to you and wants a description of Pennsylvania Station? Let's assume he or she is too young to understand your words. You've lost your pictures. And now it's painfully clear to us all it will no longer be available for an actual viewing. What would you do?
Just frickin' tell me.
Music! Tannhauser. This entire room is actualized in sound. I mean, just play the overture. A room 180 feet tall and 280 feet long is locked in the first 5 minutes of this opera. The cement and the marble of the floor lay in the opening bars, clarinets and bassoons in counterpoint to the trombones and the French horns, all in their lowest registers, somber, solid, flat, like a floor. And then the strings come in, their long flowing melodies mimicking the fluid vertical columns, and it builds. We move further and further up the walls until we reach the majestic blast of the ceiling, full orchestra. Now we have the enormity we need. Boom, 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 boom. Art and culture live in the very cement of this station. Tannhauser.
What if you don't have the music?
Well, my friend, if my singing doesn't convince you, there's nothing to accurately describe this marvel we stand in, then...
Being here?
Yes. Being here.
Yeah, well, as fun as
But
this has
perhaps,
been...
you know, you've stumbled onto something with these photographs.
Look, pal, can we move it along here now? I've got work to do.
Of course, I've taken up enough of your time.
Do me a favor, huh? Stop putting up the signs, all right? I don't feel like going over the whole damn station and taking them down.
I assume if you're here, it's too late anyway. Your people are taking down the eagles as we speak.
Sorry to burst your bubble.
Yes. Clearly, my bubble has burst.
Lights fade.